Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at the NECA, the Nightmare Before Christmas Ultimate Jack Skellington action figure. Here's a look at the packaging. Some nice artwork on the front, and then there is a flap that opens and you can see the figure in there, and there's a photo of the figure over here as well. Picture on the side and on this side, and some more pictures on the back. Here he is out of the package. I do have him posed up a bit here, and I'm using this little acrylic display base that he comes with because the feet are really small, so he can't really stand super well on those. The face that comes on him in the package looks really nice. They did a great job with the sculpt on this. It has the right shape where it's a little bit more narrow at the top and then gets wider down at the bottom. The teeth, mouth, and eyes are all painted really well. There is a bit of a seam running around the back of the head, where you can see they probably reused this bottom part and then just glued different bits on the top for the different heads. All the stripes are painted very nicely. The squiggly nature of them makes it so even if they are a little off center, you don't really notice that. But they're saturated enough that there's no like bleeding through on the black. The tatters are sculpted nicely here at the bottom of his coat. I like his little bat tie. The limbs are very long and spindly, which is appropriate, but does worry me a bit about the longevity of this figure. He's got his little button painted there nicely, and the long spindly legs. Here's maybe one section where the stripe is a bit more squiggly than it should be right there by the knee, but again the design kind of lends to that, so it's not very noticeable unless I'm zoomed in here, really nitpicking. And like I said, the super tiny feet, but they do have peg holes on the bottom. So you're definitely going to need the stand here or some other acrylic stand to help hold him up. You could probably get him posed without it, but I feel like he'd fall off a shelf pretty easy. The hands also look nice. They're thin and spindly. The sculpt is pretty good though. And the paint is decent. It's not perfect. You can see it's not quite in all the recesses there, but close enough. The first accessory we'll look at is Zero, which you could kind of say is a figure on its own, but it doesn't really articulate too much. It also comes with a little acrylic stand that you'll have to peg in here just on a ball peg. I did need some heat to get it in there though. My only complaint about this is that the eyes aren't painted great. You can see the tops of the eyes here don't have any black paint on them, so from certain angles it just looks unfinished. From an angle like that it looks okay, but there, not so great. His little pumpkin nose is painted nicely though. And the plastic is kind of like a translucent, cloudy white. It looks pretty good. It makes him look a little ghostly. There is a bit of white airbrushing over the top, so certain sections are a bit more opaque than others. The red collar is painted nicely, and the head does articulate some. It's a ball peg, but not a ton of range on that, but it'll be decent. And then you can move him around on the stand quite a bit, so I think it's pretty good for a little ghost dog. He'll come with 7 additional heads, which is fantastic. I feel like these are all the expressions you would need, so it's great that they included all of these. These 2 on the end will have a seam on the back due to the open mouth. The rest of them don't have a seam on the back though. They're all painted really well and sculpted really well. I like the shape of all of them. The purples in the mouth cleanly on all these, even the ones with the little tiny bit of mouth open. And the teeth are painted really well. So no complaints here. I think this is a great spread of heads, and I'm happy they included all of these. For hands, we saw these kind of open hands that came on him in the package where the 2 fingers are bent. He'll also come with a pair of pointing hands. Swapping these out is kind of scary because the peg is so thin. So I definitely recommend some heat for that. He'll also come with a pair of open kind of clawing hands and open relaxed hands. Then he'll come with a few fun little pieces for the display. This pumpkin head jack-in-the-box. This comes in 2 pieces and you just have to plug it in. But it's painted really nicely. There's a little creepy clown on there. The handle moves. The flap doesn't close though. Then he'll come with 2 pumpkins. A flatter one and then this taller one. Both are sculpted really nicely and painted well. I like both these a lot. And then finally this little painting. And the image itself is just a sticker on this sculpted background. But it looks really nice. It's printed well. And there's a nice wood texture around the edges on the frame. There are also some details on the back. This isn't a functional wire, so you can't actually hang it, but it is painted nicely. For articulation, there's a ball at the head, and then there's one at the neck as well. So looking up, it can look up a decent amount, and down, not so much. A bit of side-to-side tilt and rotation. The shoulders can go out, not quite horizontal. I did heat up all the joints before posing it. I'd recommend doing that just because they're so small. Technically full rotation, but it'll bump into the tie there. At the elbows, these get better range than I expected. They are single jointed though, so not the most range, and there is a swivel there. Then for the hands, these are a hinge and swivel, although they are a bit stiff. At the torso, there's just one ball peg at the diaphragm. So leaning forward, a little bit of range, and back, not very much because the back of the jacket will bump into the butt. A little bit of side-to-side tilt and some rotation. At the hips, these will go out really far. He'll kick forward. Not a ton. And back, also not a ton, but a little bit. Single jointed knees. No thigh swivel. And then at these tiny feet, they'll go back just a little bit, forward a little bit, and there is a tiny bit of ankle rocker. So not the most range. I don't think this is one that you're going to be posing a ton. And I'd be concerned about posing it a ton anyway, just because of how delicate it feels. But I think you'll be able to get it into a decent pose and set it on a shelf though. For size and comparisons, Jack is standing at about 8 1/4 inches tall, or 21 centimeters. Then for Zero, it's going to depend on how you have him posed on his stand, but he's at about 8 1/2 centimeters, or 3 3/4 inches tall. Here they are with Odious from Unparalleled Universe, as well as Alistair Gangrene from Mezco. Here's the Thousand Toys Hellboy and Medi Toys Necromancer, and an SH Figuarts Naruto and Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Nightcrawler. So overall, I think this is a fun one for spooky season. I don't think it'll be one that'll be fun just to keep on the desk and pose and play with throughout the day. That feels a bit too delicate for that, but it can get some decent poses, and I think it'll look nice on the shelf. I'm a fan of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I think this Jack is done really well. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It's about $35, so a decent price, about in line with other NECA stuff. So I think if you're a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas and Jack Skellington, I'd be okay with recommending this one. I'd just say be careful and be sure to heat up the joints before posing it. But let me know what you think. Is this one you'll be picking up for spooky season? What are some other figures you enjoy for the Halloween season? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a like and leave a comment below. Remember to be kind to yourself and others. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.